Good morning, folks. So today I thought I'd pop on and talk to you a little bit about how you start your day. It's Vicky Midwood here, the Addiction and Disordered Eliminator, Disordered Eating Eliminator. Have you noticed every time I go live, I fluff that up? I have no idea why. It's telling me something. Maybe I should change it. Anyway, so you may have wondered why I'm always doing the lives at the same time on a Friday, and I'm always kind of in my workout gear. And the reason for that is because I do a workout every single morning from 7 to 7:30. And I have done that for a number of years because it works for me. And so what I've been sharing quite a lot on various posts on LinkedIn and just having conversations with clients is that it's the importance of starting your day in a positive way. Because how you begin your day is kind of setting you up for the rest of the day. But there is also a lot of stuff now. I mean, we're really lucky, aren't we, that we can Google anything, and we've got so many posts coming through on so many different platforms now. But they're all telling you something slightly different about a morning routine and what it should be and what it should look like. And if you know how I work with my clients, and for those of you who've been in my world for a while, you'll know that one of the key things that we need to get rid of is shoulds and ought tos and musts, because they're not helpful when we are looking at ourselves and as being individuals and what works for us. And this is why a morning routine needs to be your morning routine, not somebody else's. Just because it works for somebody else to get up at 4:30 in the morning and go straight outside for a run, right, does not mean that that's what you have to, must do, should or ought to do. If that does not work for you, if it's not your bag, you aren't going to do it. You might try it and go, actually, surprisingly, I'm quite enjoying this, in which case, brilliant. If you want to make it a part of your routine, fantastic. But we have to be realistic with what works for us. Now, I didn't always get up really, really early. I do now because it just works for the way that my life has changed and the way that my business has changed. But when I was younger, I was not going to be getting up at the time that I get up now, because I didn't have to do the sort of stuff that I need to do now before my day begins. But for me, I discovered in the early days of my sobriety that exercising first thing just worked well for me, from getting myself in the right space in my head, but also energetically feeling that I was physically as well as mentally able to manage whatever the day brought upon me. And I am not a person who feels great doing exercise later on in the day. Does that mean I never exercise in the evenings? Of course I do, right? I teach exercise classes, and over the years I have taught classes sometimes every evening of the week. I think I went through a phase where I was literally doing 5 evenings a week, but I still preferred teaching in the mornings, and it affected my sleep. There's no doubt about it. Now, we're all different, okay? And that doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't, and it's bad for you to exercise in the evening. You have to do it when it works for you. But one thing that I have to always stress, and when people talk to me about working with disordered eating clients and exercise, particularly if people are suffering from bulimia like I did, exercise can in and of itself become an obsession and an addiction. And so it's really important that we understand that our bodies are all designed to move better and to function well with movement. And if we can change the word exercise for movement, perhaps that make it a little bit easier for some of us to kind of take on board. I learned the hard way that by pushing my body, all I did was end up being injured. And because of that now, I actually can't run. So even if I wanted to go and run, I mean, that's ridiculous. Of course I can run, but I can't run for any decent length of time or any decent speed without it being very painful. So I choose not to do it. I have changed my choice of exercise. Because I have Hashimoto's, it's important for me that I make sure that I manage my metabolism and my blood sugars. And what works best for my body is short, sharp bursts of movement that get me out of breath quickly and that allow me to kind of boost my endorphins that don't take a long, long time. Because here's the thing, it shouldn't take a long time. So for me, getting up in the morning and doing what I need to do. And I do actually go onto my phone. And a lot of people say your morning routine, you should never pick up your phone. But I do go onto my phone within the first 30 minutes because I do not feel comfortable getting fully focused on my exercise if my brain's wondering, is there any messages or emails that I should be answering before I do this? So I choose to go into my emails and to go into the various other social media and see if there's anything that I need to make a note of to come back to or needs responding to straight away. So that is what I do. I do go on my phone and I do check that stuff out. I also have a little bit of a listen to the news, right? And a lot of people say you shouldn't do that either. But I need to know what is going on because it could affect how my clients are feeling depending on where they're living. Prime example, today I've got a client who's in Scotland. So they've changed the rules again, haven't they, in Scotland now. So I messaged him this morning to see how he was doing and how he was feeling about that news, and if it would affect his business. So it's important for me. Does that mean I'll be tuning into the news for the rest of the day? Absolutely not. I will not. I will not watch it again until tomorrow morning. And that is purely for me to keep abreast of what is happening. But what my point is, I need to do this stuff because it helps me to help my clients. I need to exercise for me because I've got to manage my own health. When I've done that, I will now, having done this live, my next step of my routine would be to jump in the shower and then to read something that is either inspirational or educational. And then I will just double check through my appointment list and my to-do list for that day and just see if there's anything else that I want to add on to it, or if there's something that I need to take off it because it's not a priority, maybe something else has taken its place. And that is what I do. Now, if my day isn't going as well as I hoped, if I had intentions and I'm struggling to do them, I don't beat myself up about it, okay? Because maybe there are certain days that I'm perhaps a little bit overambitious about what I'm going to get done. Other days I get more than I think I will done, and so it's very much like this. And in the past, as a perfectionist who is no longer, thank goodness, I don't beat myself up anymore. But what I do is give myself permission to restart my day. So if things are not going as I hope they would, or if I'm just struggling with something or not in a good headspace, I will take myself outside, whether it's to go in the garden or whether it's to actually go for a walk, so that I can come back into the house then and restart my day. And this is something, again, that I learned way back when in rehab, 15 years ago, when I put down alcohol. You can restart your day at any time. And not only that, you can restart it a number of times as well. So just because things do not start out as you want them to do, or things are not going your way, doesn't mean that you have to get annoyed and angry and muddle through and go to the fridge and make yourself feel better by eating whatever's in there that comes to hand, or just throwing in the towel and having a tantrum and going, I'm terrible, I'm rubbish, it's all my fault, nothing works out for me, isn't life horrible, right? You can go, stop, draw a line under it, right? Take a deep breath. Ideally, go ground yourself. Take shoes and socks off. Get outside. Hard ground, pavement, grass, it doesn't really matter. But just allow yourself to feel what's under your feet and look up and notice the sky. Just let your body feel energy. Changing your environment changes how you feel. You can then choose to go back inside and go into whatever it is that you were doing before with a different mindset, or shelve that thing and decide that today is not the day that I need to do this, and let me move on to what else I decided I wanted to look at. So I hope that's helpful, folks, especially at the moment with the uncertainty that we've got going on. Having some kind of format or a routine of how you start your day is absolutely important. But knowing that you don't have to stick to things rigidly, that you have permission to change things to suit you as needed, is so important. Self-care and self-awareness is how I managed to get through my addictive, obsessive, compulsive habits with food, alcohol, and exercise. And it's a case now of practicing daily. This stuff wasn't easy for me to begin with, but the most important thing was to just keep doing it anyway. Just being consistent, because only by repetition and consistency will anything become automated, whether that's a good habit or whether it's a bad habit. And creating routines and new habits that work for you, not that somebody else tells you you should or ought to or must do, is the most important thing. So if you would like to know about how I help people to overcome disordered eating, or binge eating, or alcohol obsession or dependence, then I would love you to message me or just put a comment below here and I can message you, because you don't have to struggle alone. And getting free of this stuff is not as hard as you may think. But I put a post today in my addiction and disordered eating Facebook page, talking about how important it is to do the right steps to get free, but in the right order. Because this is the thing, what a lot of us tend to do when we work it or try and work it out for ourselves, is that we look at what people tell us we should do and we pick one or two things that we think are going to be the easiest things to do. But because we haven't done the things that we needed to do first, those things that we thought were going to be easy actually aren't. And that's because we're trying to do stuff in the wrong order. So if you want some help with actual strategies of how you can get free from the binge habit, whether it's food or drink or exercise, or that compulsion that you must and you have to and you should, I'd love you to get in touch with me. You can find me obviously on the page that you're listening to this at, or I'm over on my website, which is vickymidwood.com. It's that simple. Please do friend me on Facebook or say hi to me on Instagram. That's Vicky_Go Figure Coaching on Instagram. So guys, I'd love you to have a great weekend. And I just want to tell you, you don't have to struggle alone, and you can restart your day at any time. It's okay. Have a good one. Bye.